What is up, guys? Have you ever thought about, working?
A job.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to. And the funniest part is like when it comes to work, not even low key on some real shit. That shit low key feels like a humiliation ritual, at least in the modern day. And I want to bitch about it for a little bit. So if you're interested or you feel the same way, then just stick around, bruh. And I'm sure you will enjoy yourself here. Without any further ado, let's get to it. So, before I even get started with like my current job, right? I would love to mention that your boy, I'm a veteran type shit. Like I've been working since 16. I'm 23 now. Your boy's been in it for a minute. From jobs like McDonald's to Walmart to Trader Joe's, I love Trader Joe's, to Rite Aid to Pizza Hut, I have donned many hats throughout the years, right? And I'm sure for some people that may be a red flag, and that's okay. But I've donned a lot of hats throughout the years. And the funniest part about it all, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people. I've got a lot of experience, and I can tell you, man, like, here we go.
Back in my day, when I was a teenager, it wasn't that hard to get a job. All you had to do was just go ahead and come in person and write on the paper application and apply and hand it in, and you get a call back within the week. And if you were lucky enough, you get a job back within 2 weeks, if not sooner. You know?
Oh, excuse me, my fucking nose gross. But yeah, like getting a job was so much easier. Like I remember, like I got my job, my first job, working at Pizza Hut with my mom because she was the manager, or well, assistant. She was like a assistant manager, not like, well, whatever the fuck isn't a store manager but is a manager. I think that's like, I don't think she was the assistant. I'm not supervisor. Anyways, so like I was like 16. That was my first job, which, side note, completely made me hate the idea of working with my mom ever again. It was just that bad. I don't even want to get into that right now. But yeah, that was my first job. I was flipping pizzas for $8.50 an hour. Yep, that's right, $8.50 an hour, and this was in like 2019, 2020, which, damn, time flies, bro. But without me reminiscing over here, yeah. So basically, excuse me. Whew, that was a long time ago. It feels like. I'm sorry, guys. That shit just hit me like a freight train. But yeah, so back in those days, your boys was flipping up pizzas, right? Which actually, I kind of lied. That was like what I called my first job, because my actual first job was working at Wendy's with my boy Nas back in the day. I actually almost forgot about that. I only lasted like 3 weeks though, because no lie, and I mean this with all my heart, there was two reasons I didn't last that long. Number one, all right, just to keep it 100, be a man. That Wendy shit stressed me out, bro. Like I was, granted, it was my first job. It was my very first job, right? It was my very first job. But that Wendy shit showed me the nonsense that fast food employees go through, bro. It's not just as easy as, oh, just put the burger in the bag, bro. Like, it's not that easy, I promise you, bro. Like, there's even a particular way niggas want their fries in the bag, which I didn't even know about, but, I digress. So, yeah, trust me when I say, woo, like, it was rough, alright? Like, I won't lie, I remember I went through my first rush, like, dinner rush, and I thought to myself, that was a horrible experience, bro. Terrible. And then, like, they're like, yeah, honestly, that wasn't too bad, though. They're like, yeah, I've definitely seen way worse than that. That wasn't too much. And, like, I don't even remember how bad the rush was, but that was my first experience of getting so much stimuli at once, Like, I had, like, the heat, I had, like, the fucking beepers in the background. I'll try to put the audio up if you catch my drift. The frying beepers, the you know that shit. I got customers sitting here waiting and shit. I'm like an anxious 16-year-old who doesn't know shit. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here trying to figure out all this nonsense, and they just tell me, listen, just stand in the front and look pretty, bro, because you're selling. And I'm like, all right. So they just put me on the register. And if you know fast food, if you're a dude, especially a black dude, they're putting your ass in on that fryer grill, all right? But that's a whole nother. Anyways, so long story short, the second reason I left that job. Oh wait, I didn't even finish the first one. So after that shit, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I remember I cried that night in my room, bro. Like you might be like, oh, Jay, you're a bitch, nigga. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I was not. That shit showed me like this job shit ain't easy, bro. Like, and to be expected to do that shit all the time, like it was so crazy to me. But the second reason I quit, it was this. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna assume their gender here because I don't believe they were of traditional gender norm. So this person was, let's just say a bitch, bro. Like they were out here trying to upshow a 16-year-old to the boss or some shit, so they could get like brownie points for it. Cause I remember I would do something like I remember this one specific example, right? I was brewing coffee, right? And like I never brewed coffee before in my life up to this point. I'm fucking 16. You know, if you're drinking coffee by 16, either you've got some really old school parents or you're stressed the fuck out. You know what I mean? So, I'm brewing this coffee, but I didn't notice that there was already coffee brewed in the pot, right? Rookie mistake type shit. Literal rookie mistake. You gotta check the pot first, bro. But I didn't really know that. I didn't understand all that. So it started over brewing. And there wasn't a way to just turn that shit off. So I was sitting there like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? It's just pouring over and it's hot. So it's like, it's hard to just actually, like grab it and turn the shit off. So it was a whole mess. It wasn't too crazy, but I remember this person, I think they were like trying to be a manager or some shit. And they were like, like they were whispering over to our manager's name. Our store manager, her name was Jen. I think she still works there, which is actually crazy. But she was listening over to Jen like, oh my god, look at that, look what he did over there. Like she's just shit, or excuse me, they are just shit talking, right? And I'm sitting here like, you fucking, and like tried to act like, oh goody goody, and like I wasn't dealing with that. And like I remember another shift, Jen sent me home for some reason. I don't even know why. It was so weird. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this place. And I just up and left, and then like I just got a job at Pizza Hut. So and now, like I said, that was like barely 2-3 weeks. So that's why I said that I consider Pizza Hut to be the first job for the most part, technically. But anyways, so yeah, I've worked a lot, bro. Like, and one thing about jobs is like once I like it, if I like it, I like to stay for a while. Like I know people have this. You already know, guys. I had to hit the yawn real quick. I'm sorry. But I know that a lot of like at least a lot of folks in my close circle are like, oh, like you're a job hopper, you're this and this, like you don't like sticking with a job, and like to an extent, they're right, right? And I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna tell this to anybody. When it comes to working, you don't owe your job shit, okay? I mean that, bro, or sis. You don't owe them niggas shit. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you because I promise you, right? I promise you, they will replace you once it is convenient enough for them. All right? Like one of my boys, dead ass. I'm not gonna say who it was, but let's just say one of my boys had their mama get fucking her whole like. All right. Oh, excuse me. Basically, his mom got kicked from her job, bro. Like, they fired her ass. Like, she was with this company for years. Like, I think, like, 20 plus years, if I remember correctly. And, like, they dead ass just gave her the boot just so they didn't have to pay her the full benefits, the retirement, the pension, all that bullshit. Now, I thought that was more rare, but apparently it's still fairly common in the modern day. They did not want to pay her, and she was working overtime. Like, this woman was a hard worker, bro. Like, it's insane. So they will ask you. Your job will ask you. I mean, if I remember correctly, there was this story about like Ford firing so many of their engineers or some shit because they thought AI could just do it better. And then when AI kept fucking up, they were like, "Hey, we should like hire these guys back. You guys want promotions and da 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 da." And I mean, to me, that is just slimy, and that is literal proof that the moment it is convenient enough to replace you, they will replace you. So I try to tell people all the time, like, the minute it is convenient enough to replace you, they will replace you. So you do not owe your job shit. Okay, so if you want to go look for another job, if you feel like you're being disrespected or you ain't paid, well enough, I say there ain't no problem. Just don't quit before you get another job, unless you just really that confident, or you're gonna make a YouTube video talking about why you quit your job to kickstart your channel or some shit. But yeah, in terms of being a job hopper, I got no shame, bro. Especially compared to the shit that we read in 2025 and 26. If you catch my drift with them epi files and shit, I think a job hopper is not the worst thing you can be in the world, if you catch my drift. But moving on, right? So I'm not gonna make this a very long video, so I'm really gonna skip a little bit more to the point. I just wanted to give you guys some context. Like, yeah, I've been in the game for a minute. I've done a lot of hats, like I said. I've worked, seen a lot of people, but nothing has really changed my perspective on work like how this warehouse job that I currently have is. Now, let me explain, right? When I first got this job, I was coming from another retail job that I liked. It just didn't pay enough. I loved the job. It just didn't pay enough. It just didn't have any benefits, right? If this job that I was at paid good benefits and paid well, I would still be there to this day. In fact, I probably would. I'm not gonna say retire because that's a stretch, but let's just say I would have stayed there for a lot longer. But at the time, me and Elizabeth were moving into this new place, and I was like, I got to get my money up, type shit. So I found like this warehouse job as I was like walking by on the street, and I applied and I went to the interview, yada yada yada. So this is my first quote unquote big boy job, and that was like one of the big appeals of it all. I'm like, okay, this is my first like quote unquote manly man job to make manly man money, 'cause
you're not gonna make no fucking real money with them fucking soft hands, brother. Goddamn liberal. You want real money, you gotta get your hands dirty, you fucking pansy. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sorry. But anyways, so yeah, this is my first job. It was blue collar, obviously, except warehouse. And I remember to this day, one of the first things my boss told me when they were interviewing me, he said, listen, when it's hot, it's hot. When it's cold, right? And I was like, type shit. Now, I won't lie, I definitely underestimated that. Just looking back. But that's neither here nor there. So, I get the job, I pull out the papers, all that shit, boom. And I started this job making $1,000 every 2 weeks, right? I was making like $17.50 an hour to start, which was the most amount of money I've seen up until this point in my life. I was reeling, like I was sitting there like, yes, sir. You know what I mean? Like I was ecstatic. Alright, I was happy as shit. And in fact, I actually liked going. And keep in mind, I came towards the end of August. So, by the time I came, the summer was winding down a bit, but it was still at present. Oh my goodness, I need to start just taking allergy medicine again. Or just blow my nose. This is fucking... Anyways, I'm sorry. I leave the mistakes in so you guys know I'm not like an AI bot or something. Because, like, I think authenticity still counts for something. Regardless. So, your boy gets this job. I'm working, I'm learning everything. Hella physical. Like, I remember the first night that I went to my job, and we didn't even have AC... Well, obviously at the job, but like at my house at this time either. So like it was just hot, sweaty, and muggy all around. Even after I took a shower. So like I'm heat maxing, as the kids would say. So your boy, like I said, your boy's heat maxing, but I'm trying to push through it. I remember the first night, I literally took a shower, sat on my bed, blinked, and it went from like 6 p.m., like 5 or 6, till like 10 o'clock. And I said, fuck! So yeah, your boy was, all I had time to do was eat a little dinner and just go right back to sleep and do it tomorrow. So that was my experience of the first day, after the first day. But, you know, as time went on, I got more adjusted to the job and I felt more confident. And I actually loved going there. I won't lie. Like, this was one of the jobs that I really did like to come to this job, right? I enjoyed, like, how physical it was, and it got me moving more often and shit. I enjoyed that, like, you know, I like the crew. You know, I have, like, reservations about some aspects of it here and there, but, you know, nothing's perfect. I know I ain't perfect for damn sure. So, you know, it is what it is. But I like the crew. Excuse me. But I like the crew, and the work was pretty fun for the most part. The only thing I didn't really like was, well, the weather conditions. But, you know, it's early on, right? I say, oh, I'll probably just get used to it, whatever, as Elizabeth's dad loves to say. So, you know, yeah, fast forward a little bit, right? And this is where it all really went downhill for me. Like, I've been working at this bitch for a while. Like I said, I started in August, so we're just going to fast forward to March, right? Which, by the way, winters in a warehouse, brutal. Just brutal. Like, I'm glad I bought a coat that was built for blue-collar work anyways, because if I didn't, ooh, man. Well, excuse me. But yeah, so like fast forward to March, right? Because apparently you're supposed to get yearly raises and bonuses and all that shit. So this is the moment I've been waiting for, right? I'm like, okay, we put in the hours. I'm like, I put in the work and put in the hours, and I'm ready to take what's ours. You know what I mean? On some Dwayne the Rock shit. Raw. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to make this money. I'm about to get this raise, nigga. First off, they were mad dodgy about it. Like, it was like, oh yeah, we'll get it to you guys, you know, whenever they, you know, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't like the sound of this. We finally get our raises, right? Y'all, when I tell, now before I even finish the sentence and tell you how much I got, apparently they use a percentage based system that is like, it goes off a percentage of what you already make. Apparently, y'all, I went from 17.55 or 17.50 to 17.55. Yes, niggas, they gave me a 5-cent raise. A 5-cent raise. A 5-cent raise in 2026. When I tell you, I had never felt so embarrassed and disrespected and just thrown to the wayside as human garbage. Like, my friends think I say this for dramatic effect. I would have much rather them, like the company itself, just, you know, give me a pat on the head, turn me around, a smack on the ass, and then say, get back to work, bro. Like, literally, 5 cents? Are you kidding me? Like, I was livid. I was like mute for the rest of the week. Like, I couldn't even look my girlfriend in the eyes and tell her how little I made, bro. Like, I was distraught. And after that, I hated going to this place. I'm like, let me get this straight. I'm coming in this bitch 5 days a week from 8 to like 5 p.m. basically, from like 8 to 5 in this nasty, muggy ass warehouse, working my fucking dick and balls off, and I get an extra 5 cents for it. And like everyone in America, you know, we're so fucking like cocked. Everyone's like, oh, well, what did you expect? You know, you've only been here for half a year. And it's like, yeah, but 5 cents? Well, that was more for the bonus they're talking about. But like, you know, Americans, they're like, oh, well, you know, that's just how it goes, man. That's just how it is. And it's like, that's disgusting. We're grown-ass men and women. We can't be surviving off no 5-cent raise. This isn't our first job. We are men and women with bills to pay. Like, even with my bonus, bro, I remember they were sitting there and they're like, oh, like, I only, like, the most you get was like 600, I think, unless you had like tenure or something. No, I think it was like 600. It was either 600 or 1,000. No, 600, I think. But I only got like after taxes, 150. I didn't even get the full thing, which, I mean, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I just started. But, like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I accidentally hit my fucking desk on that last frame, and it turned my whole fucking mic off. And I didn't even notice, and I just kept talking like an idiot. But, so yeah, I'm gonna try to wrap this up a little faster because I was rambling for like an extra 5 minutes after that. But, like, yeah, so when it came to the bonus, I didn't get shit, bro. Like, I got $150, and I guess it was better than nothing, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, it just really made me realize that these jobs really don't give a shit about you. Which, it's like, oh, no shit, like, you just figured this out. But, like, you know, this really made me realize that these jobs will grind you down until there is nothing left. And, like, dudes at my job are proof of that. Like, there's 3 dudes specifically. This dude, Steve, he's, like, beat up, worn out. He's, like, in his 50s. He works 2 jobs, bro. 2 jobs. And, like, he looks fucking miserable as shit. And it's sad. Like, I'm not even making fun of him. Like, it just, I don't want to end up like that. There's this other dude named Frank at my job who's been there as just about as long as he has. Like, they've literally been there since this bitch opened, basically, like, in the 90s. And he's been doing this shit for years. And, like, he's a supervisor. Like, you know, he's got some tenure. He's got some, like, you know, he gets some, I'm sure he gets some nifty kickback or whatever. Nowhere near as much what he should be making given his experience in the field. But long short, he told me how he had like 2 opportunities, right? He had this job, which was a more guaranteed money route, and then he had like this what the fuck was it called? It was like this music job, like this local job where he would meet up with like other musicians potentially and all that shit and try to chase his dreams of being like in the industry. And he said, I chose the money. And now it's like 20 plus years later, I'm in my 50s and I still don't know what I want to do in my life. And I'm like, oh, hell no. What the hell? That sounds, like, terrible, bro. Like, and then and here's my final story, because, again, I didn't want to make this a full-length video, but, you know me. So, my final, like, mini story with that, or, like, reference here, like, or whatever, is there's this boy also at my job named Matt, this dude named Matt, and he's like, I've been with this company for about, like, 15 years or so. He said, compared to cost of living, well, with cost of living and inflation, compared to when I first started, I make less money now than when I first started. And my niggas, if that doesn't tell you that there is absolutely nothing wrong with switching a fucking job to get a bigger bag, I don't know what is, bro. Like, that is literally the game of capitalism. You know, it's like, nigga, chase the bag. I don't like it, but we gotta play the game until, you know, we change shit up, if you catch my drift. But that's about it. Like I said, I'm just keeping it a little bit shorter. I just wanted to make this little video, give you guys a little extra something, since I've given y'all a little bit of a drought type shit. So, yeah, if you like this video, you know, like, subscribe. You know, you already know the deal. I read the comments, I promise. And, you know, happy 4th of July. You know, I know it might be a little hard for us to be a little patriotic this year, but, you know, happy 4th of July still, type shit. And with that being said, my Negroes, my niggas, I will see y'all later. You know, I'm about to go, get ready to go get some things to put on this new grill that we got. Yeah, your boy's finna be grilling for the first time ever. We're gonna see how we gonna get this done. So we gonna do that. So, oh, excuse me. So yeah, your boy's gonna be sitting here trying to grill. You know, I'm gonna be looking like Piccolo on that motherfucker. So yeah, I got some things to do. I'm gonna even try to retwist my own hair this weekend because these hairstylists, these retwisters are fucking ridiculous, bro. That's a whole different thing. But like I said, I love you guys. Please stay safe out there and chase your dreams because, hey, the economy is so bad you might as well chase your fucking dreams. And with that being said, I am outie. Later.